Do not mess up your early 20s. Here are some tips that are extremely crucial for you to follow in your early 20s. Don't get caught up in trying to grow up too fast. There's no need for you to be dressing like you're 10 years older. There's no need for you to be doing things that grown people do. Actually enjoy that time. Figure out your personal style and what actually fits you. Date, but still date with intention. Don't just date anybody just for the sake of dating. And there's no need to give your body to a bunch of people either. That doesn't end up benefiting you in the end. You can still learn what it is that you want and don't want in a man just by simply observing the people around you. Don't be friends with people who don't genuinely support you. If you have friends that you feel like you can't share good news or important information with them, then those aren't your friends. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care about your well-being and genuinely support your goals and aspirations.
The best thing you're going to do in your 20s is be selfish. I will stand on the fact that the best thing I've ever done in my life was be single for 3 years out of my 20s. People put so much effort into making sure your 20s is all about dating and all about being this, that, and third, baby. When I tell you, your 20s is to take a second to breathe. Even if that means not dating for a while, even if that means just going to the gym and focusing on yourself and your health, baby, find yourself a hobby other than people and pour into yourself, because when I tell you your 20s, you're not going to get it back.
Someone asked me what my advice would be to my 20-year-old self, and this is what I said. Your goal in your 20s is to make yourself the most formidable person possible. Worry less about your resume and even less about your paycheck. The amount of money you're going to make in your 20s will be irrelevant compared to what a formidable version of yourself will earn throughout your lifetime. Worry instead about what you're learning and who you're working for. Work for the smartest people you can, and particularly those you admire and who are willing to teach you what they know. You can gain 20 years of hard lessons in 2 years with the right mentors. Surround yourself with peers who are going where you want to go and have values, hopes, and dreams that you admire. You will become the people you spend time with. The mind follows the body. Get enough sleep, because as Vince Lombardi says, fatigue makes cowards of us all. Pay attention to your habits. They might seem small and unimportant, but the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. Ask yourself often the question, what would I do if I knew I would not fail? And write those answers down. Actually write them down. Write down your answers for your career, your relationships, and your health. And write them down at least once a month. And then each morning, write down at least 3 things you're going to do to move toward those goals, and then go do those things. And repeat that the next day and the next day. You will achieve more in 3 months with this habit than you will in 3 years without it. And finally, have grace with yourself. No, you're not behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. This life of ours is an epic adventure over a long period of time, and your trajectory is way more important than your starting point. Recognize that youth is a gift. I would give up every material possession that I own to be in my 20s and to be broke and to have no idea what I'm doing with my life. Godspeed.
Man, I wish I knew this in my 20s, because this would have saved me a lot of overthinking. I would have taken more risks in life, and I would have made way more progress in certain areas of my life way quicker. And that is this: people do not look at you, talk about you, or think about you nearly as much as you think they do. And the 1 or 2 people who do, who cares? Let them keep admiring you, because they got nothing else to do with their time. Because we spend so much time, we waste too much time obsessing over all of our embarrassing moments and our mistakes and our cringy moments, when I promise you this, just try this. Pick someone in your life. You don't even have to be that close to that person. And for 30 seconds, try to name as many embarrassing moments of that person as you can. You probably can't think of that many. And if you did think of any, be honest. How many times did you think of those moments before I asked you to in this video? So what I'm trying to say is this. Look, it's 2024, all right? Go out and take more risks in life. Go out and live the type of life that the 80-year-old version of you would look back on and smile like it's your favorite movie.
Being in your 20s can be really, really hard. But guess what? It does not have to be. So I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you be your best self, the best version of yourself that you can be, and level up by the time we are in 2024. So the number 1 tip I have for you is time. The way you spend your time will determine so much. What you spend your time on will be the determinant of what you'll get out of life while being in your 20s. So if you decide to spend your time on parties only and the fun stuff only, then the results will just show. So we reap what we sow. That's a fact. We reap what we sow. So don't expect to be partying throughout and magically get something different. You'll get exactly what you're looking for. If I were you, I would spend more time on what I actually want to achieve, on my goals, on my dreams, and every other thing I've set my mind towards. I'm assuming you already have your goals clearly set, your goals clearly written, so if you have all this, then there is no time to waste, because every day counts. Okay, so I will still talk about time. We also need to talk about balancing this time. You have to learn how to balance your time. What do I mean? You can't be always fixated on I want to do this, focus on my career and do this. You also need to network. You also need to mingle with people, because that networking and that relationship you've made might be the determinant between you and your new high paying job. So make sure to create time to spend with high value people. That includes family members. If they're not high value, avoid them. Only see them when necessary. But if they're high value people, spend more time with them. Same to your friends, because the people you surround yourself with will determine how your life comes to play. So try to empower the friends you already have so that you all win in this game, because we're all playing in it. Okay, so the goal and the enemy is poverty. So as long as the enemy is poverty, and that is what we focus on, how to elevate ourselves and become better people in our 20s. All right, so another thing is your 20s are the time to explore and travel. If you waste your time again on things that don't matter, then you won't get the chance to actually travel and do all these things. What do I mean? Don't rush into very, 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 very demanding commitments, because you'll not be able to do stuff like traveling. So for some people, maybe it's they are not into traveling or anything, but I feel like traveling makes you think broadly. Whatever you learn in the country you're in, you will never learn the same thing in another country. Every country has a different experience, and it will broaden your thinking, and it will show you how unlimited opportunities you have. So if you stick to one area, you'll never know this. So I'd rather you save up the money you're using to go on expensive stakeouts with friends and use it to travel. Talk to your friends, do a group trip, which is still going to be fine and I think more cost effective. Prioritize your health and wellness. Whatever you do right now will reflect when you're older. That's a fact. So if you prioritize your health and wellness, you won't be depressed easily. You will be, you will cope with the stress and economic strains we are going through now during this time. So for me, I feel going to the gym is one of them. Working out, doing outdoor activities. It's not every day, clubbing. Come on, girls, boys, even. Come together, plan an outdoor activity, go for a hike, do all this body wellness things that are going to help you in the future, and they normally help with stress management. So if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling stressed out, outdoor activities really do help. So if the people around you are not nurturing, then there's a problem. You will not grow. That's why I keep on insisting on cut ties with anyone who is derailing, too negative, not ambitious enough. Surround yourself with nurturing individuals. If you have the friend that you go to, tell them an idea, and every time is no, it's too hard, That's not a nurturing person. You need a friend who, when you give them an idea, maybe they are not in for it, they give you maybe a solution or a plan B. You're like, okay, you know what, I think this business, instead of doing it like this, you should do it like this. That is a nurturing friend, or a friend who will call you out on your BS. Okay, that's also a nurturing friend. Everyone's reality is different, so let's stick to our goal, which is common, and thrive in our own way. Okay, your success will look different from mine, and that's just it. Try and be financially literate. Okay, financial literacy is important. Okay, so if you're in your 20s and you still don't know how to manage your finances, it's a red flag. There's a problem. If you don't manage your finances while in your 20s, it's going to catch up with you. So try and learn as much as you can. You can learn as much as you can from books, from podcasts, from things you watch even on TikTok. So I have done episodes on investing and all that. If you'd like to learn more about your financial budgeting, investing and saving, you can watch my previous videos. So the last thing I'll tell you, don't be too hard on yourself. We are all on the same boat. We are all trying this and that, and sometimes we fail. This is the time to do all your mistakes and learn from them. Repeating your mistake is the problem, but if you learn from your mistake, you'll be fine. Okay, so don't be too hard on yourself. Your 20s should be your best years yet. Okay, so that's it for me, guys. I hope you've learned one or two things. What you can do is save this video for later reference, and yeah, leave a comment. If you'd like to ask any question, I'll answer you gladly. Okay, bye.
Ladies and ladies only, let's talk about things I wish I knew in my 20s. If I could talk to my 20-something-year-old self, I would have so much to say, like, girl, you're overthinking this life thing way too much. First off, I'll tell her to stop comparing her journey with everyone else's. Back then, I'll scroll through Instagram and feel like everyone was so much ahead. People were getting jobs, traveling, having babies, and I was just there, existing. But you know what? Everyone's timeline is different. Your pace is fine. You are fine. I'd also tell her it's okay to say no. I used to feel like I had to agree to everything, every plan, every decision, every favor just to please people. But saying no doesn't make you difficult. It gives you space to protect your peace. Oh, and we'll talk about money, of course. I used to think saving was something I would start when I earned more. Big mistake, I tell you. Even if it's just the smallest amount, saving early makes a big difference. Future you will thank you. And lastly, I would remind her to celebrate the little things. You got through a tough day at work, celebrate. You finished that book you've been putting off, celebrate. Life is not just about the big moments, it's about the small ones that keep us going. So if you're in your 20s right now, let me tell you this. You're doing way better than you think. Just remember to take it one step at a time. You've got this. Cheers.
You are in your 20s. The last thing you should be worried about is getting married and having children. That's the truth. So what are you doing with marriage and children? You have your 30s to be worried about that. Make some money. Build yourself. Get to know yourself. Date. Listen, there are some experiences if you don't date when you're in your 20s, you won't get it. What are you doing with marriage and children? You have your 30s to do all that, to be obsessed with that. And these days, do you see the divorce rates? Please. And all this divorce is only two things that is causing them: cheating and money issues. Yes. So imagine you don't having anything and then you enter into marriage. And if you're a man too, please make some money. What are you using marriage for in your 20s as a man? Listen, men and women, if I catch any woman marrying in their 20s, and then we the ones in our 30s are now sending money out there, please focus on yourself in your 20s. Don't let anybody tell you, say, and I won't trim, and I wouldn't. Oh, please. Statistics shows that 80% of women have their second to sixth children in their 40s. What are you telling me? And I'm going away. I'm going to market. Come on, guys. If you're in your 20s, focus on building yourself. Be matured. Go through things in your 20s. So by the time you get to your 30s, bang. Then you use that knowledge to enter into marriage. If you don't date in your 20s, if you don't experience life in your 20s, what are you going to teach your children in your 30s? Yeah. So please focus and make sure your 20s is worth it.